I'm Jerry Rice, and this is how you sell without selling out. Rogers That.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rogers Healy, and welcome to Rogers That, a podcast dedicated to selling without selling out. And I'm almost embarrassed that I'm even going to attempt to introduce our guest today, because this is somebody that I put on the Mount Rushmore of idols, of heroes, of people I look up with, the same line of sight as my father, people that just have impacted my life from afar, but thankfully by just the rule of serendipity, this person has also become a friend. He's impacted my life directly as well. Simply put, he's the GOAT. What's the GOAT, you ask? The GOAT is the greatest of all time. But to me, Jerry Rice, who is our guest today, is not just the GOAT on the field, he's the GOAT off the field. An entrepreneur, a businessman, a business owner, a father, and someone who epitomizes the word GOAT, the greatest of all time, so much so to where he hails from Mississippi, made it to the NFL as a first-round draft pick in 1985 for the San Francisco 49ers, and holds so many records, including the following. Ready for this? 208 touchdowns, 22,895 receiving yards, 1,549 receptions across 20 seasons, and he did this until the age of 45 because he championed the mindset and the body of a GOAT. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have on the Rogers That podcast, the greatest of all time, Jerry Rice.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. How was that introduction?
It was fantastic.
Did you know you held that many records?
Yeah, it was I didn't realize I had that many records, but all of those records, it's because of my teammates.
Yeah, and you've done this, which again just proves the fact that, like, technically, I'm your teammate now. I get to go in, and I cannot even believe I'm saying that, but I get to be your teammate in the world of GOAT Fuel, which is kind of how we got full circle connected. But it just proves that you are a team player, and you love going and raising everyone up around you, even though you're the greatest of all time.
You are my quarterback. You are my Joe Montana right now.
Don't say that.
But, it's all about teamwork, even with GOAT Fuel. And just to have this opportunity to work with you and just get to know you, it's been an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, well, obviously, same here. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that might be on my my headstone in the next 100 years when I go to heaven. But again, get us into the mindset where the premise of this is to really go and let people know that it's okay to be the best at something, and it can make you a better person as well. And so walk us through the journey, maybe even a story you haven't shared before on your way to becoming the greatest.
Well, man, I had no intent on playing football. My mom, she really thought it was a very violent sport, and she didn't want me to play. I had a brother that played in high school, and I was one of those guys, I had humongous hands. I was real skinny. I had big feet, and I was just off to myself. But I would run so much during the summer, and I don't know why I was running. It was almost like it was an episode of Forrest Gump or something like that.
Run, Jerry.
I was just running. And my mom would ask me, she said, son, why are you out here 12 o'clock midday? It's over 100 degrees or more, and you're running. I guess I was preparing myself for something really special, and that was playing professional football.
But did you even like football at the time?
I didn't like football. I was a nerd. I was a straight up nerd. And like I said, I just had big hands, big feet, and everybody would notice my hands and my feet before they noticed my face. And I was off to myself. And one day, I decided not to go to class, and whenever I'm talking to kids, I always tell little kids this: don't play hooky or anything like that. Always go to class and get your education. I decided not to go, and I was hiding out behind this building, and the principal was making his rounds, and he walked up on me. He scared me. Noticed I could run really fast. And in Mississippi, you got disciplined a certain way. I got 10 lashes. Then he wanted me to go out for the football team. I go out. I'm not the most gifted athlete, but I just felt if I really work at this, maybe I could become a starter. And I became a starter. And after that, everything just took off.
Was there somebody you looked up to? I mean, in football, this was a few years back, and it wasn't as accessible as Instagram or even ESPN, but who was the first, was it a receiver that you said, that's who I want to idolize?
This is going to hurt me really bad because I was I was a Cowboy fan.
Really?
I was, yeah.
Wait,
because
where in Mississippi were you?
Come on. I was in Starkville, Mississippi, Crawford, Mississippi, around that area.
Oh God.
And I was all about the Cowboys, and I remember Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, Roger Staubach, all of those guys.
Tony Hill's daughter works here.
And it was always amazing, man, because I remember the Cowboys. It was America's team, and I came so close to being drafted by the Cowboys.
I did not know any of this.
Because, I was the 16th player taken in the first round. Dallas had the 17th pick.
Oh my God.
And I just knew I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. And I got, picked by the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm assuming this story has been told before. If not, I'm awaiting quite a few comments in the section here. So you did. And I don't know if you heard this. Tony Hill's daughter literally is one of the people that works at our company, and I got to spend some time with him a couple years ago. And it was
what an amazing player, Tony Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, what he brought to the game and how he could just, run away from defenders.
Yeah.
Because, I think he's the only guy. I think he has one touchdown where he went 99 yards.
Wow.
And just the way he ran the ball and all of that. Then with Drew Pearson, I idolized, and Tony Hill, all of those guys. And I tried to emulate those guys when I came out of college.
And little did you know you were going to end up being Jerry Rice. And so you take this journey and again, I have big hands and big feet, but no one ever said, hey, have you considered maybe doing anything? I just was the big, tall, fat, goofy kid. But you, again, were growing into being the GOAT. And so how did that headspace change from being a self-proclaimed nerd to realizing you had a gift?
Oh, my God. It's been like an amazing ride. And I still have to pinch myself because I can't believe I got the opportunity to play the greatest game ever. Professional football at a very high level. And, everything goes back to even when my father would take me to work with him during the summer. And it was very demanding work. My father was a bricklayer, and we would get started around 7 o'clock in the morning, get done around 4. Then he would drop me off at my high school where I had 2 hours of football practice. Then after football practice, I didn't have transportation, so I had to run an additional 5 miles home.
Each way?
So this was every day, and to get the opportunity to go out and showcase my abilities, it's been like a dream come true, and to go to a very small, predominant black school like Mississippi Valley State University, HBCU, and to be able to come out of there and play with the greatest organization ever, the San Francisco 49ers. And I always look at Joe Montana as being God. The chemistry that we had back in the day, and I think that really helped me to put up outstanding numbers.
Yeah, and again, as far as the headspace, and you called yourself a nerd, which I would never say, but what was that like? Where the premise of this is to make sure people know it's okay to go from not a lot of recognition to something special overnight. Was that a hard adjustment for you, knowing that you did have something that you had to go and let the world see?
I would say the hardest thing is to find out where you fit in.
Yeah.
Because when you walk into a room and you look at all of these legends like Montana, Dwight Clark, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, all of these great players, it's like, okay, what can I bring to the table? So you have to earn that. And I think I was able to do that during practice. The way I would catch a 5-yard slant and go 95 yards, or if the way I worked every day, and I think my teammates they really appreciated that, and I think that's the reason why we were able to build that dynasty. But it's okay to have success, but the thing is, once you get it, you got to work harder. I think so many guys, they get complacent when they are successful. Then they stop working. I had that drive where, and I probably got it from my mom and also my dad, that I always wanted to get better. If I had a season where I had over 100 catches, over 2,000, close to 2,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, I wanted to come back the next year, and I wanted to share that.
Then was it hard to be in that moment, to be a champion?
I had a coach named Larry Kersey, and he told me, he said, Jerry, you need to smell the roses.
Yeah.
I mean, the success that you have had, sometimes you need to step back just a little bit and just reflect on that and enjoy it. I never could.
Yeah.
Because I wanted more, and I stayed hungry, and I think that's the reason why I played the game for over 20 years. Because when you think of a football player, the lifespan of a football player might be 4 years. 4 years at the most, and I was able to exceed that. 16 years.
Do you feel like you missed out on some enjoyment along the way?
I think I missed out on. And I started doing a little bit of this towards the end of my career, actually looking in the crowd.
Yeah.
Looking at the fans, being able to really engage, with the, with the families and stuff like that, the kids and all of that, and being able to take myself out of football just for a second and just reflect on everything that was happening around me, and people just being in the stands, inspiring you to be the best football player you could be, giving you that incentive to try to make every catch, and also, to finish and score touchdowns.
Which you did. And you also, again, being part of a dynasty, which is a great parlay into the conversation we're going to have about business. But you also had to realize you had a gift outside of just football where you could go and maybe pick winners in business. So you go and you win the Super Bowl. Joe Montana is your quarterback. Dwight Clark is your tight end. Roger Craig is the running back. Ronnie Lott is on the D. I mean, we all grew up watching this stuff. You won your first how old were you when you won your first Super Bowl? So that would have been in 1989?
That was in 88.
88. So that
was against the Cincinnati Bengals. And
I watched it.
And
Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the weirdest thing about that is that we had about 3 minutes, 10 seconds left in the game. And Montana, he's a prankster, man. Joe came into the huddle, and we had the 2-minute drill. We got to go over 80 yards downfield to win that Super Bowl. And Joe Montana says something about the actor John Candy being in the stands. And I'm like, Joe, why are you talking about John Candy? This is in the huddle, right before we broke the huddle. And I'm like, why are you talking about John Candy right now? We got to go over 80 yards downfield to win the Super Bowl. But I think what he wanted to deliver is that, hey, we got this. It's like, hey, we have practiced this. We have done it before, and we're going to be able to move the ball downfield over 80 yards and win Super Bowl 23, which I was the most valuable player.
How about that? Yeah, that's not bad. Our first MVP of a Super Bowl, sitting in here in the green chair. So you did that, and then again, you started to make real money. You started to get access, and you started to be the Jerry Rice that we all know today. At what point did you start to have the discernment for investing and for businesses and for seeing stuff that, again, led you to something like Goat Fuel?
I sort of had that the entire time. And, it's I think we look for opportunities, and you got to be able to invest your money wisely, because you can just go through it. So the first thing that I did when I got drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, I had told my mom I was going to build her a new home. So, to be able to do that, that really, that was something that was really special. But, it's all about the brand. It's all about relationships and all of that. And that's how, I basically got into Goat Fuel, because my daughter, I think her and TJ, her husband now, they were in Los Angeles, and they were drinking energy drinks, and they were crashing. And my daughter knew that I was this health fanatic, which get up on Peloton, work out every day, and that I did all that, and that I basically didn't put anything into my body that would hurt me. She said, if you had an energy drink, what would you name it? And I just said off the top of my head, Goat Fuel, the greatest of all time. But not just for athletes. It could be an entrepreneur, a frontline worker, a doctor, a lawyer, anyone that's that's inspiring to be great on that given day. So that's how all of this got going. And I went back to some old ties and I said, look, everybody know me because of my work ethic. My core values, you got to give me ingredients that has my core values, before we put this out. And once we developed that, we were able to, put it out there in the market. We went through e-commerce at first. We built a base of about 17,000 repeat buyers. And I have to tell you this story. St. Jude, I was in the process of raising money for St. Jude with Mark Lowry. Mark Lowry was the CEO for Walmart for so many years. So we were in Indianapolis to raise money. And I was telling him my story, and I said, yeah, we're in the process of raising money right now. And he said, well, how much do you want to raise? I said, well, I think it's going to be around that 3 million mark or something like that. He saw my vision and he invested $3 million. No
way.
And that's how it all got started, right before the pandemic, because once the pandemic hit, everything just shut down. So it was just like, I think it was just meant to be.
Did it remind you of being a kid with big hands and big feet and someone saying you should try football? For real. I mean, you had somebody that believed in you and obviously believed in your passion and knew your work ethic, which you already had because you were a runner as a kid. But to go and have, a full circle moment, you have someone who's a very successful business owner in the world of sports as well, in the world of startups, and you're just having a casual conversation about an idea. Yeah,
Rogers, I think you got to have... things got to happen like that for you.
Yeah.
I mean, because I didn't think I woke up and I was one of the greatest football players to ever play the game. I never felt like I had arrived. I always took a different approach to that. Maybe because I just felt like, I didn't want my head to get big or anything like that. I never thought I had arrived. And, sometimes, things just come your direction and it just happens. And the chemistry that we had together, Mark Lowry, which Mark Lowry now, he's the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves along with Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, I didn't know A-Rod was a part of that.
Yeah, so A-Rod is a part of that too. But yeah, sometimes things just happen.
Yeah, well, so get us to the quick and the journey to Goat Fuel, where again, like being a professional athlete, everyone knows the statistics are so far against you to even play college, much less get drafted, much less make it longer than 4 years. In the beverage space, in the venture capital space, having a beverage make it past concept is damn near impossible.
Yeah, it's very competitive. Very competitive field. You look at all the drinks that are out there, and we are starting, from scratch. We were starting from scratch, but we are making significant progress. With Anheuser-Busch, with all the distributors that we have over 40 or more. And, we're just going to continue to build. We got, people on the ground, people that really believe in the concept of, what we're trying to build here. We started with 3 people. We up to about 20 now. And, our investors, they come in, like you, Rogers. The thing is, you believe in what we're building here. Your heart is into it. So, you're going to go out there, you're going to work your butt off. And that's really what I want, for my entire team. And they know they're going to get 100% from me because it's something that I really believe in. Yeah. And my heart is into it.
Which it's happening. And he's not giving himself enough credit, but the energy drink space, again, it's overly competitive. It's overly crowded. They come out, they launch multiple flavors, multiple seasons. Yeah. The first real year is COVID. They did not quit, which that's kind of part of the Rice way, is to just go and find a way to persevere through it. And then within a year and a half, they're everywhere that they can be. California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Mississippi, Arizona, and they also have a crap ton of sales. And on top of that, mentioning what he said about Mark Laurie, they have these people like me. I was able to get organically introduced to the brand because I believe in it. I love the idea of being a GOAT, being the greatest of all time. But you have incredible numbers where your problem is everyone's biggest dream is you have more people wanting it than you have the ability to go and provide, which is how we were able to connect. And so what was that like, knowing that you had a product that was out there, you leveraged the Jerry Rice brand, but people want it because it's great?
Well, that's a good cause to have, but you have to really work, because you got to look at distribution and all of that and what it's going to cost. And you just got to continue to go out there and just work your butt off. So I have the ideal team because, the concept of GOAT Feel for me, and I try to build it around Eddie DeBartolo, what he did with the San Francisco 49ers, because he was all about family. I have the best family ever, and I have the family that really believes in, if I have to call a distributor and if I have to harass him the entire time until he calls me back, then when they call me back, then they say, wow, this is the real Jerry Rice, because normally stuff like this don't happen. Most athletes, what they do is, if they got something they're going to put their name on, they're going to, just take a picture.
Move on.
Then they're just going to move on. I am totally invested in this 100%.
What does being a GOAT mean to you?
What does it mean to me? I think it's anyone, when you wake up in the morning and you challenge yourself to be as great as you could possibly be on that given day. And I do that every day. And I get up, I have my GOAT Fuel, I jump on my bike, I get my workout in. I have done something productive for myself. Now I'm ready to go out there and attack the world. And, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to shortchange myself. If I'm involved into something, I'm all in.
Yeah. That's how life should be, all in or all out. And that's kind of the theme of your life. A couple fun questions. The Jerry Rice movie, who plays you?
Denzel Washington.
Okay, the Jerry Rice musical. What's the theme song?
What, from The Greatest Showman?
It doesn't have to be a musical theme song, but
yeah.
But I'm
well, look, back in the day, I always when I had to have some rap music when I was about to do battle. I would say probably Snoop Dogg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love
Snoop and I, we stay in touch with each other, and I love what he's doing. He's...
Shout out to Snoop. What up, Snoop? West Coast for life.
Hey, Snoop, give me a call, man.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Snoop, so is your theme song, is it a Snoop, is it a ballad? Is it something where you have Hugh Jackman and Snoop Dogg doing a duet? See, I finally think I've asked him a question he's never been asked.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
We can come back to it.
No, you know what? Anything that really to really just get you going. Off the top of my head, I can't call anything out in particular right now.
It's a fire up song.
But yeah, something to fire me up and just to get me going.
Yeah, I love it. So you look back on, and again, I feel like you're in the second phase of your career, which is so fun to be a part of this, front row as a fan and as a friend and as a partner. But you're taking all the stuff that you learn in the first half of your career and you're applying it to Jerry Rice, the brand, but the businessman, the leader, et cetera. What's the thing that's most important to you as you go and you're Eddie DeBartolo now of GOAT Fuel. What does that look like for you?
I think that the most important thing is that we put the product out there and we give people an option, because we the only energy drink with cordyceps mushrooms that gives you that clean burst of energy where you don't crash, you don't get the jitters or anything like that. And the thing too, it tastes good. It's refreshing. So it's just like if you are...
It's got electrolytes too.
Yeah. if you are into maybe say you're in Las Vegas or something like that, and you out by the pool, and you just want to taste something refreshing, you can just pour like goat fuel over some ice, and that's all you need.
Maybe even some tequila.
Yes, you can. Alcohol is always an option.
Yeah. So when you think about all the different accomplishments, from being the greatest receiver of all time, the greatest man of all time, Hall of Famer, entrepreneur, etc., from a worldly perspective, when you look back, what would you say that the thing that eventually you're going to be the most proud of being a part of?
This is the greatest opportunity for me to work with my daughter, G.O.A.T, Rice, Gold, and this would have never gotten done without her, because she went to Georgetown. That's where she got her education, and she had, she had been an entrepreneur in different, companies and stuff like that. And now to have her running my company, and for us to team up to try to make this work. It doesn't get any bigger than this. You think about all the big games I have played in. From the championship games to the Super Bowls and stuff like that. This is for her. And I want to make it happen for her, because, I had my time on the football field. Everybody know me from the San Francisco 49ers and winning Super Bowls and all that. But I think the most important thing is that I get the opportunity to work with my daughter.
I'm a girl dad too,
Yeah.
and I hope that one day I can do something with our daughter too. Best advice. What would you give somebody that is wanting to be a version of their own champion? What's the advice you would give them?
Welcome failure. It's going to happen. You learn from it. You get up, no matter what, and you just devote yourself all over again. I never felt like I played the perfect game. I was always searching for that. I think that was something that motivated me and made me work harder. There's going to be obstacles in your way, and there's going to be highs and lows. It's how you deal with those lows. If you're willing to just accept those lows and not get back up and start swinging again. Bill Walsh used to be a boxer back in the day when he was growing up, and he said it's all about the battle, the highs and lows.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it, man. This has been one of the highlights of my entire life.
No, come on, Rod.
Being friends with
Yeah.
you and feeling like I have earned a seat at the table. And before we forget, the last question: what's the best way to support you? How do we find Jerry Rice? Obviously, Instagram, but how do we support your journey? How do we go and get goat fuel? What's the best way for all of us to go and participate in the continued excellence and the greatness of Jerry Rice?
Well, it's just Jerry Rice on Instagram. Then, GoFuel.com. Then you can go to all the Luckies, the Safeways, the 7-Elevens, the Targets, the Walmarts and stuff like that, and just show your support.
Everywhere.
And yeah, so we are, I'm excited about the way we're expanding. I'm excited about my team and how hard my team is working. And I think we have something that's really special. And like I said, I'm totally committed to it 100%.
Well, you're the GOAT. You're my friend. And this is why, truly, it's a dream come true. And to have you sitting here today with us has been it's a moment. And I hope that people can pay attention to this and realize that he epitomizes everything about greatness. But to me, he epitomizes what it's like to just go and work your face off until you figure it out. And then how do you go take that to the next part of your journey? And you've done that from, again, fatherhood to entrepreneurship to athleticism. So thank you for being here today and for your friendship.
Roger's that.